From my point of view, the most difficult thing about running an SCT at its original focal length is guiding. So what we want to look at today is what are the best options to guide and what are the tips and tricks right after the trailer. Hey, this is View into Space. I'm Sascha from Switzerland. So grüezi miteinander and thanks for watching my channel. So let's start with that. What makes it so difficult to guide with an SCT, especially when you use it at its original focal length, meaning without a reducer? There are two factors. One is the high focal length. That means not only that your guiding has to be way more precise than with a refractor with 400, 600 millimeters, it also means that especially when off-axis guiding, that the field of view that your guide sensor has is extremely tiny. On the other side, using a guide scope is a huge issue because of flexure. So the different optical path, especially because usually you use guide scopes at 10 times less the focal length than the SCT, and then this can lead to also absolute unusable guiding. So in the last few weeks, getting comfortable with my 925 Edge HD, I tried different options of guiding, and we go now through them one by one. So the first and best option is off-axis guiding. It's a no-brainer, and whenever feasible, you should do that. Now you might say, we knew that. Where's the issue? Why is the video not over yet? Well, when off-axis guiding, there are different things which can stand in the way or which you have to consider. First of all, forget off-axis guiding with a default off-axis guide you would use with a lower focal length refractor. The issue is that the prism is way too small. There are so many opportunities where you will not find a decent guide star within your image, which means you have to turn the image, which might also not be what you want. So there are specially designed off-axis guiders for SCTs. Celestron is offering one. There are some others which have a rather large prism, and based on that, you will have a bigger image for guiding. But it doesn't stop there. You also need the right camera for that with a large sensor, because what's a large prism of use if you have a tiny sensor? And then because this camera has to be in focus, camera which is not really designed for guiding, like a 585 for example, will probably also create a lot of issues as then the optical path is too long. So you might end up with a 174mm Mini, which is also not the cheapest camera. So together, a nice off-axis guider plus the correct guiding camera might easily set you back $600. But then there's something else. Usually the appropriate off-axis guiders, they're not that thin. So they put a lot of distance on your optical path. If you do not use a separate focuser, that might work well. In my case, with the steel track, it didn't work at all. So I tried it, and it would have been really hard to organize that, if at all. And definitely if I would have also liked to add it in a filter drawer or a filter wheel, that would not have been possible at all anymore. And that led me to the search of options. Because while, and again, if you have the right off-axis guider and the right guide camera, it is by far the best option. It's not always feasible, it's quite expensive, and it's still not easy to make sure that everything is in focus with the different filters and so on and so on. So what are the options? One option, and you see that right here, is a dual camera of ZWO, like here the 585 MCR, or I also have the 2600 MCR. They both have the guide camera integrated. So how is that working? First of all, using these cameras on refractors up to around 1000 millimeters, it works like a dream. Even with dual narrowband filters on it, I never had an issue until now. and I got very, very good guide results. Now let's go to the SCT. And here the story looks a little bit different, because there's one other issue I haven't mentioned yet if you shoot at full focal length, and that's the speed. We're dealing here with a f10. That is not so much an issue when you shoot the regular photos, but for a guide cam, which actually should shoot every 1 or maximum 2 seconds, that's not a long time when you are under an f10. And only the strongest stars make it through, at least in a quality that you can use it for guiding. And also don't forget, we have only a tiny sensor of an ASI 220 in there. So we have a tiny sensor, a tiny really picture where it can guide, and then you only get a few stars which make it through. And to make things worse, you might want to use a filter which decreases the light that comes through even more. And should I make things worse, at least with a 2600 with an APS-C sensor, the guide cam is right outside where the vignetting already kicks in and lets even less light through. So does it still work? With a 2600 MC-Air, I have to say it's tough to know. I struggled with it sometimes without filters. If you have the ideal guide star, it will work. But there were more situations when I run into substantial issues, or when after 10 minutes it suddenly lost its star and couldn't find it anymore. So not good. With the 585 MC-Air, where the sensor is smaller, hence the guide cam is more inside on about a 36mm radius, where the vignetting doesn't kick in that much anymore, it's much better. But also here, and even without filter, there were situations, for example at the moment, where we had full moon and a little bit of haze in the sky, which all made it more difficult, that I couldn't guide with it anymore. And that's still without filter. That all said, when I could guide with it, I got very good result to about an RMS of 0.5 together with the AM5 here. So it is possible to guide with a duo cam, but can you fully trust it and always rely on it? Not really. So what to do? And that leads us back to the guide scope, right? Because with a guide scope, you do not have all these issues. But as I stated before, the guide scope with 2350 millimeters here focal length usually doesn't work. So can we make it work? Yes, we can. If you're innovative enough, and also here, if you are willing to pay the extra money to make it work. So this setup I have here, that works. But what is it? It starts with a 400mm guide scope. I have this from Skywatcher. That's quite light. It also doesn't cost too much. So it's a good start. But does it work? Not really. 400mm is just not good enough. And when I tested it, I got eggy stars. No way. I heard that some people actually can manage with a 400mm guide scope with an SCT. I don't know if they have a reducer and an 8-inch, but I've heard of it. But from my experience, doesn't fly. So what I did is I put a 2.5 Barlow lens on it. And now we are at 1000mm. So just about half of the SCT. That sounds great. We're here from a focal length point of view, but we're not right here from how fast the scope must be, because I haven't calculated through. But given this is rather a tiny scope, and for 1000mm, the f-stop will definitely be above 10. So we would run into the same problem as with the SCT. So what I did is, and I know it's a little bit of luxury solution, but I anyway had one lying around, I put a 585 on the back. So large sensor, high resolution, so I could easily afford to put it on bin 2, which makes it much more sensitive. And ladies and gentlemen, this system here works like a charm. It works not as good, to be clear, as the internal guide sensor of the Air camera, but I got to an RMS of about 0.7 with it, and my stars were completely round. So I will still use, whenever I can, the internal sensor here of the 585 because it just is unbeatable. 0.5 RMS with such a scope, that's really a dream. But for this special situation where I shoot with a dual narrowband, where the conditions are not that good, or where simply from the sky region point of view where I am at a place where there's no decent guide star, I always have a good backup solution. So from that point of view, I haven't really shot anything decent from a DSO point of view with it until now. I was more fiddling around with the focusing, with the guiding, but I feel now I'm ready. And even it looks really clear, it was just full moon and there was always a haze at night. But I think next week I should have some really clear nights, and I'm really looking forward then, after all the testing now, to really discover the galaxies with it and shoot some cool pictures. I'm now curious, if you own an SCT, how you guide, what your options are, your fallback options, what experiences you made, what worked, what did not work for you. Please leave it in the comments below. See you next time, and clear skies.
Love space? Love this channel? Then you'll love what's going on over on my Patreon. Behind the scenes content, early access, breaking news, exclusive tutorials, tips and tricks just for you, all for the price of a coffee. Go deeper, follow stories as they unfold, get personal support, and download all the supporting docs and data. Join our crew of space enthusiasts, support the channel, fuel the mission, and unlock a universe of extras. Links below. See you there.